Hi, Michelle here again. I was going to go ahead and explain a little bit about the integration between the website for Rex Academy and Jackrabbit. So here on our virtual classroom lessons page, we have the registration tables, and they pull from Jackrabbit. I've gone ahead and pulled the actual code that they pull from. And this I did by looking at the view source and just searching on Jackrabbit. Now, this has with the JS, you're not going to be able to preview that with the JS. That's what you need when you actually put it on the website, though. So in order to be able to preview and kind of see how it's going to look and be able to talk about it, I'm going to go ahead and change it from JS to direct. So if you do openings direct, you'll be able to pull it up in your browser and kind of preview and play around with it before you put it on your website. And a couple other things I happen to know. This style here, that's actually something specific to our website. So I'm going to go ahead and move that down here. You need the and symbol. It's going to not be able to separate those out. So if I go ahead and select just the part inside the quotes minus the style, then you can go ahead and pull it up here. And this is the actual table before that style stuff is added. Okay, so as we can see, we've got two tables here. Go ahead and study the way the code's built. The location and Cat 2 are both filters on which of our classes are going to show. Hide columns turns off various things that Jackrabbit tables normally include. Tuition label changes the title of this column here to something that we have specified. And then we're going to sort it, and we have specified how we want the information sorted. And we have it in dark orange because those are our colors. I believe dark blue is also an option. Those would also be our colors. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what this looks like on the Jackrabbit side. So we can go ahead and basically repeat those limits. Location, online. Category 1 was unspecified, but we can limit it. And scratch is in here. And so that matches this. So we'll be able to pull up the exact same courses filtered the same way. Okay, and there's the same two classes. If we go in and open up one of these classes here, a couple relevant things for how they display online. Whoops. Click on the summary tab to get this information. Here, this section here is important. Display on website. If that is no, the class will exist, but it will not show up in our table, because that display on website determines whether or not it's even sent to these tables here to be displayed. So once a class is closed enrollment because it's already started, or for whatever reason, we can go ahead and keep the class in the system but turn it off so it no longer displays on the website. Allow web registration. If that is yes, then these register buttons appear. If we set that to no, it'll still show up and be informational, but parents won't actually be allowed to register. Allow portal enrollment. New parents are always encouraged to use the portal to enroll, and they see a slightly different thing when they go to choose their classes. But if we want current families to enroll, we need to set that to yes. Trial enrollment is what puts them in a category that doesn't get them automatically billed. However, to stay and become a billed parent, someone has to go in and take them out of the trial status. So I have that currently set to no because we're planning on not billing people right away. A couple other things to watch under here in enrollment. Openings 3, max size 5. Openings 3, size 5, so max size 8. So max size is the maximum number of people that can be allowed to enroll in that class. And if we change it to 5 and then save changes, go ahead back to our website and refresh that. Hold on, it's loading. It's now switched to waitlist, and it will do that anytime the number of enrolled students is equal or more than the max size. Now, whether or not it will show up with a wait list determines how many people we've put on the wait list. So I've set it so that people who are still interested could go ahead and get on the wait list, and that way we have a record of them and can in fact approach them and start a new class if we have sufficient interest. There is a few settings that affect the whole database with regard to wait list that are dealt with elsewhere. Okay, so that's this. And then go ahead and see it. You can make changes here. Let's say we wanted to include the ages column. I could preview how that's going to look here by not hiding. See, hide columns, that will hide the information. So we can add it in or take it out. And in our case, we're including the age in the class description, so we are hiding it in the table just to keep the table looking a little cleaner. All right, so on these filters, go ahead and pull up here. If we wanted to filter it further, we can always filter on Cat 1 or Cat 3, which are also ways you can filter. We can also filter on session. Go ahead and show you where the session is. Session here is something that we've already preset, so that's 2020 online weekly classes. If we were in the middle of summer and we wanted to have a new batch with a new session so that we could limit just to those classes, we could add the session as a filter in the actual table. And that would be session equals, and then would have to match exactly what shows up here. Spaces, capitalization, everything. Couple other things, registration start date. You can load the classes in and set a registration date in the future, and that will not allow anyone to actually register until that date. You can still have it display, however, if it's on yes, or you can turn it off here and then do a group add. So let me go ahead and go over that. Edit all classes here. So we're going to go ahead and pick our, let's look at our coded classes for this time. Okay, so this is a way to edit multiple classes. Up here in the yellow, any changes up here will affect everything. So if you wanted to change the start dates for everything in this search, you would do it here. In general, since these are at different times, you're not going to want to change that. But one thing we may want to do is go ahead and change the class size. So we talked about limiting those to 4. So if we change it up here in the yellow, it's going to change the max size for these classes to 4. And it'll change it for everything that we have previously set with our filters in the first step. One thing to note, if you have pulled in more classes than can fit on this page, there will be a view all option here. You want to make sure you click view all, because the yellow actually only changes what's on this screen, the current screen. And if you don't hit view all, it's not going to change everything. So we're going to go ahead and save those. Now, if we go back here, the Kodu classes aren't full, so they're still showing as available, but if that change had caused some of them to fill, they would have switched to waitlist as well. You can change the max weight here as well. In this case, we don't want to change the fee because one of these is twice a week. If we wanted to just search for the once a week classes on Saturdays, we could go ahead and change this here. You can also save that as a favorite. So this is Kodu Saturday classes only. And public would be available to everyone else who uses our database. In this case, since I'm just practicing with it, I'm going to make it only visible for me. But if you wanted to make it visible for the rest of the group, then you'd click public. And then once you do that, it actually shows up here, and so you don't have to redo your search each time if that's a search that you use frequently. If you wanted to pull just the classes that showed up on the website, you could do that here. There's numerous ways that you can go ahead and filter this. If you're trying to match what's on the website, you want to go ahead and get your session, your category 1, category 2, category 3 to be the same as what is on the code. And like I said before, if you wanted to play with whether or not you've got it correct, then you can switch between openings JS for JavaScript and openings direct. Okay, I think that covers kind of basics for how, and the actual name of the favorite shows up here. Nice. That kind of covers how to cross-check between the website and the database, and I'll end this video here and cover other things in another video. All right, hope that was helpful.